Iran's Supreme Leader has issued an order for a direct attack on Israel in response to the killing of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh. There are reports that Iran will respond with drone and missile strikes. Joining us is former Labor MP Michael Danby. Michael, thank you for joining us. How significant
Thanks,
is
Gabrielle.
the killing of this Hamas leader?
I think it's crucial that Jerusalem owned up to the killing of the Hezbollah leader in Beirut, but they don't want to provoke the Iranians into a military attack like they did in April, remember, with the 300 missiles, by owning the attack in Tehran. It was to send a message from Jerusalem to Hamas that 70 years after the Second World War, if you kill a whole bunch of Jews or Israelis, the people who organise it are not going to get away with it. But also important, Gabrielle, was the message to Iran. If you continue to use all of your proxies all around the Middle East, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, all funded by Tehran, all funded by their oil revenues, selling cheap oil to the Chinese because the Americans don't impose their oil sanctions, we can get you. And what a time to send it, the day where the new Prime Minister of Iran is being sworn in. And Hamas, look, it's right out of that great TV spy series that's just been out the last few years called Tehran. The poor Iranians must think that the Israelis are all over Iran. They're behind every corner. Remember, Gabrielle, they stole the entire nuclear archive from a warehouse, put it in trucks, and drove it out of the country. I mean, if you were a leader in Tehran, you'd be worried after that assassination of Hamas.
Are you concerned about the potential retaliation?
I think the Israelis dealt with it previously with American, French and UK help. But that was a direct missile attack. I think if it had been an Iranian in Tehran, there might be a more comprehensive military attack. But unfortunately for Hamas, they're Sunni Muslims and they're regarded by the Shia incumbency in Iran as dispensable. So I think there'll be some perfunctory military response, but not a wide Middle East war.
What do you make of the US's response? Joe Biden has been very quiet.
Well, Fouad Shakar, the bad guy who the top of his building was shaved off when he was visiting his mistress a couple of nights ago, had a bounty of $5 million on his head, Gabrielle, from killing of the Marines in the barracks in 1983. So the Americans can hardly condemn the Israelis for doing that. And the Israelis have openly owned that one. But they think perhaps that the Israeli tactic of sending Iran heavier messages than the United States have sent might be an effective strategy. And they would prefer Israel reacting like this to Iran and like they did to the massacre of those children in Migdal Shams by Hezbollah and another Iranian proxy, by targeted assassinations. There's no military invasion of South Lebanon that avoided casualties for both the Lebanese and Israelis. And the Americans are probably biting their tongue and saying, well, we'll see how this works out. It beats having a more open-scale war.